the biggest MMA troll today who makes fun of everyone and is funny as hell. But once the Octagon door closes, he turns into the Incredible Hulk on steroids, with the relentless pressure of non-stop action and blasting the opposition with haymakers. Paulo Costa is a BJJ black belt but never uses his grappling credentials in the cage. Instead, he initiates a brawl where he unloads a heavy cargo of bombs to the body and head until the opponents stop moving. Borrachina is about to face the toughest challenge of his career, Robert Whittaker, so it's the perfect time to recall the 5 times Paulo Costa beat down his opponent senselessly and discuss how the fight against Whittaker would go. 5 versus Johnny Hendricks. In his 3rd UFC fight, Paulo Costa was matched against Johnny Hendricks, a former champion and a wrestling powerhouse who hits like a tank. Costa opened the hunting season with a kick to the body and issued an unofficial statement that he would be the aggressor by taking the center of the octagon. The Brazilian was stalking his prey to a corner and occasionally pulling the trigger, diligently working the body and head. After receiving a powerful high kick, Hendricks decided to stand up to his bully and return with fire. However, it was as useless as trying to break steel with a glass hammer. After back and forth action, the first round was closed by a vicious body kick by Costa. Once the second round started, Costa didn't waste time with appetizers and went straight to the main course. The American was discouraged from keeping the fight on the feet, so he went for a takedown, although hugging Paulo's legs can hardly be called salvation. That only angered Costa more, who went on an assault by unleashing the beast, not giving Hendricks a place to breathe. The Brazilian smelled blood and went for the kill. He bombarded Johnny with rockets, forcing the referee to stop the torture seminar in the 2nd minute of the round. Johnny Hendricks was still a powerful wrestler and a heavy hitter at that time, yet Paulo Costa made it look easy by treating the American as if he never fought before.
Very grateful for Johnny Hendricks for coming here. Thank you, John. And I come here to show to the world who I am.
4 versus Oluwale Bamboshe. On June 3, 2017, Borrachina was set to lock horns with Oluwale Bamboshe, a dangerous slugger with a 100% finishing rate, all by knockouts. Trying to stand and bang with a brawler like that isn't very smart, but try telling Costa that. The Brazilian showed him he was not there to joke around, even at the weigh-ins. When the fight started, the African fighter turned into a wrestler and even scored a takedown. Well, taking down Costa was easy, but holding him there was not a walk in the park. The Brazilian scrambled to his feet and shook his head as if it was nothing. Oluwale turned into Crow Cop and launched 2 high kicks, which Paulo ate for breakfast. The African started to tire, and Costa reminded him how painful a kick to the torso can really be. The Brazilian then steered his victim into an ambush and pulled the trigger, starting a sequence with a powerful left kick followed by grenades to the body. Costa then threatened with knees to the body, but was later tamed with a takedown, which Oluwale used as an opportunity to catch a breath. In the second, Costa provoked the African with a high kick, and he jumped headfirst into a slugfest. Oluwale tried to retaliate but lost his step and paid the price by losing the position. Borrachina seized the opportunity and rained on the adversary with powerful ground and pound shots, forcing the referee to wave the fight off.
6 seconds of the 2nd round, declaring the winner by TKO, Paulo Costa.
3 versus Bruno Assis. After bulldozing through his first 5 opponents effortlessly, the heavy-hitting maestro was welcomed to the Brazilian jungle fight promotion by Bruno Assis. Little did Bruno know that he was facing the future UFC title contender. Costa gesticulated and challenged the opponent to a brawl, and when he didn't respond, he landed a powerful leg kick. The opponent returned the favor with a leg kick, but Costa was ready and used it to score a takedown. The unlucky Bruno Assis helped the rival discover his talent for drumming, and the referee intervened to save Bruno from spending the night in an emergency room.
Por nocaute técnico de Paulo Borrachina.
2 versus Gareth McClellan. By September 2016, the Brazilian slugger issued 8 one-way tickets straight to the Dead Sea. When the big league called, there were no second thoughts. Paulo Costa made his UFC debut on March 11, 2017 against Gareth McClellan, a BJJ black belt and a submission wizard with a notable victory over Dricus du Plessis. However, when Paulo started launching ballistic missiles, Gareth's black belt kept getting bleached. The South African had no answer to Costa's relentless pressure. He desperately turned into a wrestler, but his takedown was easily stuffed. Borrachina set the rhythm with swift combinations, boxing like a sniper and kicking like a mule. Gareth kissed the canvas and Paulo pounded several nails, and the referee had seen enough. Honorable mention versus Luke Rockhold. Costa's most recent opponent was Luke Rockhold, and they faced off on August 20, 2022. Luke Rockhold is a former champion and an impressive all-around fighter, excelling both in striking and grappling. As a former UFC and Bellator champion, the seasoned veteran was determined to show that he still had what it takes. During the match, Costa demonstrated his grappling skills by controlling Luke on the ground while also showcasing his striking prowess. Despite Luke putting up some resistance on the feet, Costa relentlessly continued like an unstoppable force, launching torpedoes occasionally. As the fight progressed, it turned into a bit of a zombie-style showdown, but Rockhold was simply too exhausted to change the course of the fight. In this one-sided pounding where Paulo was the blacksmith, the judges had an easy time declaring Costa as the absolute winner.
First of all, Salt Lake City, you are amazing! Whoa!
1 versus Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall is responsible for some of the scariest KOs in UFC history, with 13 of his 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Considering that Costa's a BJJ black belt, the most reasonable game plan would have been mixing his striking with grappling to neutralize Hall's striking prowess. Well, everyone should have known by now that Paulo Costa would never shy away from a good brawl. Uriah Hall utilized his jab effectively, and Paulo realized he was no longer the uncontested leader of the striking hierarchy. However, it didn't stop him from landing powerful shots. When Hall found success with his spinning attack, the Brazilian simply asked for more. Costa, being Costa, initiated a shootout, targeting his head and working the body, but the Jamaican remained composed. Uriah fought well, but Costa's pressure was too much to withstand, as the Brazilian kept coming like a man possessed. Paulo cooked the liver, and Hall retaliated with a takedown. The Brazilian started to throw grenades, and a ruthless all-out war broke out. Borrachina regained his strength and went for one last assault. He started the finishing sequence with a merciless bombardment of the head, which resulted in Uriah Hall ending face down on the floor. Paulo Costa versus Robert Whittaker. On February 17, 2024, this Brazilian heavy hitter is scheduled to face Robert Whittaker next. Considering that Whittaker is a stand-up fighter who only uses his wrestling defensively, this bout is rather intriguing. Whittaker is undoubtedly a seasoned fighter with an impressive career. However, there are signs that his chin might not be as sturdy as it once was. Dricus du Plessis managed to knock him down with a jab, and considering Costa's relentless attacks and powerful shots, one can only imagine the storm that awaits Whittaker. Costa's aggressive style and powerful strikes could pose a serious threat to Whittaker's ability to absorb punishment. As seen in his previous fights, Costa's overwhelmed opponents with his pressure, leaving them with no room to breathe. Given Whittaker's reliance on stand-up fighting and a potentially weakened chin, Costa's strategy of initiating a brawl and unloading a heavy cargo of bombs could prove highly effective. In this upcoming clash, it wouldn't be surprising if Costa, true to his form, pushes forward, creating a whirlwind of aggression that Whittaker may find challenging to weather. The Brazilian's ability to mix up his strikes and exploit any weaknesses in Whittaker's defense could very well be the key to victory. As we await the outcome of this intriguing bout, it seems that Paulo Costa's relentless assault and powerful shots might just be too much for Whittaker to handle. If past performances are any indication, Costa could very well add another impressive victory to his record on February 17th. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch this video, fight fans, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.